Good evening. I will now call to order the meeting of the Town Planning Advisory Committee on this Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We also acknowledge that people of African descent have been in Nova Scotia for over 400 years. We honor and offer gratitude to those ancestors of Mi'kmaq and African descent who came before us to this land. We also acknowledge that words alone are not enough and work towards achieving the action items in the calls to action of the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. We have our agenda before us, which is brief this evening, and if somebody would like to ask for any changes or additions to the agenda, please speak now, and otherwise, if somebody wishes to call for acceptance of the agenda, please do so. Okay, thank you. So that is moved by Councillor McGrath and seconded by Ms. Delorier. All those in favor of acceptance of the agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any contrary minded? No, motion carried. We have the minutes from the previous meeting from November 24th. If anybody has any changes that they would like reflected in the minutes, please announce those. Otherwise, if anybody would like to move to accept the minutes as circulated. Councillor Graham, do I have a seconder for that motion? Sorry. Thank you. Mr. Jordan. All those in favor of approving, of approving those minutes from November 24th, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any contrary minded? I think that was everybody, so motion carried. Thank you. Okay, so we will now move on to the one project on the agenda for tonight, which is the application from Factory 58 Holdings Incorporated, which is at step three of the process, and this is Senior Planner Fox's project, and he will go through the staff report with the committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Application for 67 Inglis Place. It is an application by Factory 58 Holdings Limited, and it was initially made back in December 2024. The original proposal was for a 4-story building with 30 dwelling units and some street-level commercial space, and that proposal was recommended for approval by PAC back in February of this year. The applicant is now seeking to make some changes to the proposal. So this was the proposal that was approved by the committee back in February 2025. So the applicant is now looking to revise the proposal. They returned to PAC on November 24th and had 4 different design options and sought just some direction from this committee as to what would be the preferred option. So the committee recommended that the applicant proceed with a 5-story building with the setback 5th floor and rooftop amenity space. And the application is now at step 3 of the town's development agreement application process. The 5-step process is outlined here on the screen, so we're at step 3. The next step is a public hearing and decision by council, assuming that we have a positive recommendation coming out of tonight's meeting. So I think everyone's pretty much familiar with the site now, but 67 Inglis Place is the parking lot next to Take It Outside, and across from Olive and Vine, and across from the Truro Centre. They're usually about approximately where the Via Rail station would be. Property is about 1,486 square meters in area, or about 0.37 acres, and the property is currently developed as a private parking lot for 43 vehicles. The site is entirely surfaced with asphalt. Subject property is situated in the heart of the Truro's downtown business district. high-profile location, and the area is characterized by sort of a traditional downtown commercial architecture, 2- and 3-story buildings, situated at the street with street-oriented commercial space at grade, resulting in a welcoming and pedestrian-friendly streetscape. For the most part, this isn't exactly the best part of it, but you get the sense of like the English Place over here would have a very welcoming, inviting pedestrian streetscape. And then you see the subject lands again with this image here showing the view from English Place and showing some of the existing built form that you would find on English Place. The subject lands are within the downtown core policy area. They are also located in the downtown core zone. And this is the revised proposal that's been submitted. So this is for the 5-story mixed use proposal, which consists of 35 dwelling units, 525 square meters of commercial space, and 192 approximately square meters of rooftop amenity space shown here. And you can see the step back 5th floor in this one. Just to orient yourself, Esplanade runs across the bottom right-hand side of the screen. English Place is at the bottom left. Havelock Street runs across the top of the screen there, and Truro Center would be the building here shown in the lower right-hand corner. This is a site plan showing the mixed-use development proposal. You can see the parking lot here. Havelock Street runs across the top of the screen. Esplanade runs along the right-hand side, and the bottom of the screen would be English Place. So this is the ground floor commercial spaces here. There's 3 spaces shown with the stair access, elevator access, service, and stuff like residential service areas. There is a 525 square meters of commercial space in these 3 spaces listed here. Parking area has direct access to Havelock Street. There is parking for 21 vehicles. The bylaw requires 19. The parking ratio would require 19. The parking ratio for this development for 35 units works out to be about 0.6 spaces per dwelling unit. Aside from the terraces on the 5th floor, the design doesn't feature any balconies, but it does include the 192 square meter rooftop amenity space, which works out to be just over 2,000 square feet of amenity space. The density is 235 units per hectare, or about 95.3 units per acre. This is the 2nd floor of the development, or actually levels 2, 3, and 4 of the development shown here. There is 1 studio unit on each of these floors, and there's 6 1-bedroom units on each of these 3 floors, and 2 2-bedroom units on these floors. And in this, you can again see the same orientation as the previous drawing, where you have Havelock Street at the top of the screen, the Esplanade at the right-hand side, and English Place along the bottom. This is the 5th level of the development shown here. And at this level, there's 1 less unit. So you have 1 bachelor unit, 1 studio unit, 5 1-bedroom units, and 2 2-bedroom units. This is a rendering of the proposal showing the view looking north from the intersection of English and Esplanade. So you can see what notably here is the step back 5th floor, but you can also see some of the materials here with the brick on the ground floor with the rounded corners, and some of the window treatments that the fenestration that matches the existing built form on English Place to some extent. And also kind of, you can see how here this nicely illustrates how the step back 4th or 5th floor actually helps reinforce the established sort of building heights on the street. So it steps up nicely as opposed to being really tall in relation to the street. This is just a more detailed view of the English Place facade. This would be the view of the corner of Esplanade and English looking east. And here's another rendering showing how the building ties into the existing building, the Take It Outside building at 65 English, I believe the civic address is. And this is a detailed drawing which is included in the staff report as well, giving some details on the material finishes and some of the more, just a better look at some of the architectural detailing that's being proposed. In terms of policies, enabling policy here is DC 74. I'm not going to read that, but basically it just says that the council can consider development agreements for multi-units in the downtown core zone. Policy review, staff have completed a full review of the development using the applicable policies found in the town's planning documents. Full details of the review are attached at the back of the report as a staff report, which is available coming into the gallery today, and it's also available online, I believe, or will be. So the full policy review is there. In terms of the policies, how this development performs in relation to those policies, it does align with many of the town's development policies, including increased residential densities downtown, new dwelling units on existing infrastructure, appropriate land use mix, so wanting to see a mixture of uses in the downtown. Also having pedestrian-friendly and vibrant streetscapes, so it does align nicely with all those policies and others. Those are the key ones. Proposal is expected, therefore, to make a positive and welcome addition to the downtown core. In addition to the, just in terms of more policy review, one of the potential issues that was identified, minor issues really, was the height and scale of the proposal. The addition of the 5th floor does pose a potential issue related to the height and scale in relation to surrounding buildings. The additional height also poses a risk that the building would overshadow English Place and negatively impact the pedestrian environment, creating sort of a canyon effect. Not really desirable on downtown streets. But the architect has successfully addressed this issue by stepping back the 5th floor and effectively reducing the street wall height matching what's on the neighboring properties. More in keeping with the downtown. The other notable concern identified by staff would be, again, pretty minor, would be the provision of amenity space for use by residents and visitors of the development. Proposal includes 192 square meters of common rooftop amenity space and about 107 square meters on a terrace on the 5th floor. The proposal, pardon the spelling mistake there, the proposal would normally require 665 square meters of amenity space in accordance with the land use bylaw, but we did send this out to the town's director of Parks and Rec, and it was indicated, and I definitely agree, that it would be expected the residents of this development would be able to take advantage of nearby public amenities such as Civic Square and Victoria Park. So it's not a big concern. In terms of external review, we also received favorable comments from other external departments and other town staff. We did also take this back to the Heritage Advisory Committee and the Fire Service because of the additional floor, and there were no issues as a result of those reviews. And in terms of public participation, we did a notice development. Notice sign was posted on the property today. Information has been posted on the town's website under active development applications. That's started back in November 21st and has been updated. A mail out was sent to 46 property owners within 150 meters of the subject property on December 2nd. There were 2 responses to the online survey. Both were in favor and there were no comments. So we're at step 4 would be the next step in the process. Again, that would be going to council, going to council and for a public hearing and decision by council. And I do apologize, I usually do include in the staff report a recommendation, but that I omitted that, but the recommendation here is that the Planning Advisory Committee recommend that council enter into a development agreement with Factory 58 Holdings Limited, or Incorporated, pardon me, to permit the development of a 5-story mixed-use development consisting of 35 dwelling units and 525 square meters of commercial space at 67 English Place, and the PIDs listed there. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you. If any of you or all of you would like to come closer to the microphone in case there are questions from any of the committee members, that would be great. Okay, Councillor Graham, we'll start